Stampy, welcome to the line with the Capitol Report. I hear you got somebody super special with you there.
Yeah, Neil, I got my good friend and colleague, Representative Ron Hicks from St. Charles here. He's a ex-cop, worked as a Navy contractor training SEALs back in the day. Now he's up in Jefferson City in his last term as a state representative. And he is the guy in the Republican caucus to champion the cannabis issue. So I know you have a lot to talk to him about, so I'm going to hand him the phone and go for it.
Hello there, how you doing? Representative Hicks here.
Representative Hicks, thank you for joining us on the Flower Power Hour.
No problem.
First off, from the patients out there, I'd like to say thank you for all the work that you guys are doing and trying to further these laws, expand the rights for patients, and help get folks out of jail. What exactly does the temperature feel like where you're at?
I think we're on a good path for this. Missouri is on that wavelength right now. I mean, I've even met in the last couple of days people that have been released from jail. One gentleman, I believe, was going to have to do 23 years and was let out 13 years after by our governor, and it's a marijuana offense, a nonviolent marijuana offense, and he was going to spend 23 years of his life in jail. He missed 13 years of his son's life.
Yeah, it's a true story that there's a lot of folks out there. I believe even 1 hour, 1 day is too much.
It is. I mean, this is ridiculous. We're talking about putting people in jail for something that not only grows wild and is legal in so many states now, and even the federal government is now starting to get laxed on it, and yet here we have this struggle and this fight. I think it's time to wake up. Alcohol's out there in abundance like it is. We have systems built for that. I think we can do the same thing for this.
And by systems built for that, you mean laws generated towards compliance regulation?
All of it. I mean, you got 3-tier system here in Missouri. You know, you have distributors and you have the sellers. You know, it's just there's a way to do this to where we can still keep an eye on it and make sure that it's done correctly. And I think right now Missouri is on the right path to that. I think one of the things we need to watch for are the initiative petition process, something like that. You know, I think it'd be best if the legislature themselves and we all get together. We have a lot of brain power going on between all of us, even though I think some out there would say that between all of us we don't even have one. But that's okay.
I'm glad you said that.
But I think that we have enough people here, though, that are now seeing the process and how this needs to be done through the legislature to make sure it's done correctly this time. We don't need large corporations and large companies coming in from out of state trying to tell us how to do this. We don't want to tax the people out of it either. This isn't something where the state should get rich on. This is something where we should be helping the citizens of the state.
So what does the pathway to adult use in Missouri, Rick, what does that look like from your perspective and your standpoint there?
I actually think it's looking a lot better now, and one of the reasons for that is the initiative petition process. I think you'd rather see, even Missourians, I think at this time would rather see this vetted through a law process and put into law the correct way rather than use an initiative petition. So right now I think we have a fairly good path on this. It's probably the best path we've had in a long time, actually, and that's because of some of the processes in the past. For example, you know, we have medical use out here. The program's great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love our program, but there are so many different things we could have done to make this program so much better. Not only just for the distribution of it, but also for the patients of Missouri themselves. I mean, because it's the patients that pay the ultimate price. If we're screwing up some kind of a system, they're the ones paying the price.
So do you feel dissatisfied with the current system?
I'm satisfied with it to a point, yes. I think we're still working on it. There's still a lot of kinks, but, you know, we're new to it. This is only our second year. So we're still new to the medical marijuana side of it, and that's why once that door was opened up, I knew we were going to see a recreational side to it and the adult use. It's got to come. I mean, you still there?
Yeah, you betcha.
Okay, I thought I lost you. I heard a beep on the phone, so.
No, we really appreciate you joining in.
The medical side here, it just opened the door for us to look into this, to see that this isn't the drug that everyone says it is, that this is not the gateway drug. I mean, your mom and dad's medicine cabinet's probably the great gateway drugs anymore.
And unfortunately, that's what happened to a lot of the kids out there, you know, from the standpoint of getting into their parents', you know, medicine cabinet and taking pills, and then, you know, that leads to one other thing and this and that, you know, and stuff like that. But, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, you know, experienced that with a couple of my son's friends and stuff. I remember going and picking this kid up from from a festival, or the Lions Club Carnival, and we had to put him in the back seat and take him home. It's like, what'd you do? And it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
So
that's the other side to it too. We've got so many children out there right now. The younger kids, this generation, they're such risk takers on every level. And some of the drugs and narcotics that are out there nowadays are just so terrible. And I know personally a lot of kids that, have been raised around the alcohol, including myself, where your parents are abusive or they tear your family apart, things like that. And that's not what this does.
No.
This isn't going to make you violent. I mean, look at Super Bowl Sunday, one of the most violent days in America. Imagine if we took alcohol out of that scene. How would it be?
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Some of the bills that are currently in some of our House and Senate positionings in Missouri, some of those have your name beside them. Are any of those super important for us to know about right now?
Well, there's quite a few bills probably with my name next to them that are important.
I thought I saw the medical marijuana lodging bill. Was that yours?
Yes, that is mine, and that's just that's simple for me. Being a business owner, I don't want to be put in a position to where I'm breaking the law because of my customers. And so the protection is for the establishment. You got a medical marijuana user comes into your building, is going to medicate themselves just like they would have with their regular inhaler if they're an asthmatic or whatever they would. But yet, let's just say for some reason there's something going on in this town where there's a bunch of feds in town and there's a couple in the building, and all of a sudden they're like, "What? I smell that in the hallway." That guy opened his door. I don't want anyone getting in trouble for someone medicating themselves for something that's legal in our state. Let's face it. If someone wants to be a jerk, they'll find a loophole to try to pick on someone for it. And that's one right there. And I think if we're going to legalize things and allow certain things, for example, we're going to go into my next legislation, the expungement. We have a legal medical marijuana card in your wallet, and when you were 18 years old, you got in trouble for marijuana, and now it's on your license, it's on your record. But you legally can use marijuana now. I think those are things we need to look into. The nonviolent crimes.
Kind of a conflict of interest there.
Yeah, and there's also.
Don't you think? I mean, it just does not sound right.
Well, there's also the idea that cannabis has been around for a long time. I've been smoking for a long time, and before there were bud tenders or dispensaries or anything like that, you had to get it from somewhere, and those people got in trouble. And it just doesn't make sense that there's a $1 billion industry out here and people are still in trouble. Just doesn't make sense.
America is leaning too more towards the, not that they're being soft on crime, but we're revamping a lot of our criminal justice systems. The criminal justice reform in America alone. This is a big star on criminal justice reform right here. If we could do something with this and then stop penalizing people for such petty things. I mean, come on. This is so stupid anymore. Where we're at in America and where we are at in the times, I can't believe we're still having this argument. You and I should not be talking about this.
I agree with you. I've done time for cannabis, and I definitely knew I was not in the right place at the right time. So I totally understand that.
I mean, we've got people that have been incarcerated now and are coming out of that, getting jobs, or could be getting jobs in this industry when they are the ones that know it inside and out. And we're not even allowing them to work in an industry that we put them away for. Yet they know everything there is to know about it, and it's legal now. But because they were in trouble in the past, we're not allowing them to work in that field.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things we need to work on.
Your subject matter experts in the cannabis field look a little different than sometimes I think it looks like. But
well, from a comparison standpoint, if you get in trouble for stealing a car and you go to prison and you get out and you want to go work as an auto mechanic, you're saying you can't do it? That's the same kind of philosophy, isn't it?
Exactly. There's just so many things that do not add up on this whole thing. What happened to common sense?
Exactly.
We're losing it. We're putting it on paper too much, and next thing you know, that paragraph is 3 sheets long, and it was just common sense.
Well, common sense walked out the door when everybody had to look on their cell phones to figure out what they need to do for the day.
That's funny because I tease my kids all the time about it when we're driving somewhere. Like, Well, we're going to your girlfriend's house. You want me to take you over there and you don't know where she lives? How many times have you been in the car over there? If you take your head out of your phone, you might know where you're going.
So I got one more for you, Representative Hicks. So I know one of the big questions out there that people have all the time is about cannabis cards and possession and gun rights. What are we doing to try and lock that whole conversation up so it's not an issue anymore?
You know, we do the same thing we do with the pills. Do not operate heavy machinery or this and that. Common sense again. Common sense again. I can be right now. I have my firearm on my side right now. Okay? I'm an A+ rated NRA member. I have my gun on me all the time. My gun's on my side right now. Now, I could be on any number of drugs that a doctor has given me and no one would have a clue or care. But yet they impair my judgment.
Right.
But I'm allowed.
Well, I think we.
Am I allowed legally? There's a gray area there, yes. But do you think if I was pulled over right now and I told a police officer that I have my weapon on me, he's going to go, are you on any type of medications from the doctor? Are you on opioids or anything? No. They usually isn't any drugs, weapon in the car, such. Yeah, I have my weapon on me, sir. And the conversation just goes to, okay, well, what do you do? You know, why? Or keep it where it is, you know, things like that. Because obviously here in Missouri we are about freedoms. It's just that we're working on some of the other ones, but we have no concealed carry. You know, our license, we can carry a gun willy-nilly. If you're a legal citizen and you've broken no laws and you can legally carry a firearm, you can put it on your side. You don't need a permit to say that.
Right.
You know, we all know so many people out there that have guns and are so afraid of this issue. And it's just scary.
Oh.
I mean, it's like, let's get over it.
I'm afraid of this issue.
It's so.
I do not have a medical marijuana card because I am afraid of the federal government.
Sure, and that's a shame. So my question then is, are we leaning towards more conversations, more protections for card holders?
We have filed legislation left and right to protect the card holders in our state.
Amazing.
We file legislation every year. You'll see protections for it every year. We do not want anybody else having your information. Perfect example, I'm just going to say HIPAA laws. That's the way I see it. If this is a medical situation,
100%.
then you have no right to looking at my medical records unless myself tells the doctor to go ahead and do so. Keep the federal government and the government, period, out of my medical records.
All right.
So with that in mind, say I'm a medical card holder and I go to a gun shop and I fill out my application. Is there something on the application that says, are you a medical marijuana card holder that denies you?
It doesn't ask about medical marijuana, but it does ask about marijuana. Are you a user of drugs? Well, the federal government still sees that as a drug. So that is an area right there that needs to be fought and fought hard, and it needs to be fought in the federal level. We can fight them here in the states like we do all the time. We're always fighting against the federal governments here in Missouri.
So do you have...
We're always trying to keep them out of our business. We have filed legislation after legislation to protect your Second Amendment rights while you carry your card.
Okay, so that's actually on a gun application that
Yeah, people have been lying for years.
well.
Oh, you bet they have.
I mean, yeah.
So if you check the box no and you're a card holder, do they reference to?
And then they find out about it.
Yeah,
You broke the law.
you're in trouble.
But the other question there, has one single card holder had their firearms taken from them, and I think
Not that I know of.
not
No.
that I'm aware of either.
Right.
So,
Well,
right
my
on.
question
See,
is why?
right there, though, I want to stop you there because that's just it. See, the perception of, let's just say, a stoner, like they used to call us
That's
back
me.
in high
Yeah,
school
that's
and
me.
stuff.
You're good.
Okay? The perception is different now than what it used to be. It used to be, you're just a stoner, bro. You can't do nothing right. We know that's not true anymore. Look at the heads of CEOs.
Look at Waxy.
Yeah.
Look at doctors, lawyers, attorneys,
Absolutely.
judges. There are people all over this country using and not telling you.
Absolutely.
They're all in the closet.
And I
That's what
know
we talk
some of
about. Yeah, well, no, we all do. There's a lot of professionals every single day.
Why do you think the black market has been it's been the number one selling crop in decades because of the black market?
I know. I mean, I'm almost 50 years old. I turned 50 this year. And we have family, friends, and friends from all over this country, and actually all over the world, but mostly all over this country, that okay, they may not vote for it to legalize it or something, but there's that weekend every now and then where they like to go out and have a little bit of fun. They may be in Colorado or, something like that. I can't tell you how many stories I hear. Well, oh, my God, my husband and I got some edibles. We hadn't done that since we were in high school. It was so cool. It was so neat.
I know them.
You know what I mean? That's why I say, why can't we just treat this like we do alcohol? This is just a social aspect. Kids aren't
Right.
going to sneak off and go get stoned in the corner and then go run off and shoot up.
No.
They talk about, the driving aspect of it. We talk about the firearms. What about the driving aspect of it? You can't tell if I'm high or not. I put some Visine in my eyes, man. My eyes aren't red. I'll tell you how you tell, because usually that person's doing the speed limit or under it.
Right. Nope. Consumption is not
Or
impairment.
sitting there waiting for the stop sign to turn green.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, I just saw that this morning.
Representative
They're
Ron
eating
Hicks.
a bag of chips like it's the last bag of chips on the earth, and yeah, I get it. But still, my point here is, if I take two individuals, two totally same exact weight, height, everything, and I give one of them a 12-pack of beer, and I give one of them my quarter, well, I'm not really going to give him my quarter, he can have his own, and let him smoke that, which one of them do you think is going to be able to walk the straight line, to be able to pass a sobriety test?
Absolutely.
I know which one. The dude that was smoking the weed, the guy that
Right.
drank the 12-pack,
Right.
is not going to be able to walk.
Right.
That's a
It's
fact.
the old school trick, or not school trick, the old driving trick where you drink a beer, you get behind the wheel on the track. They used to do this in California to show officers, when you're going through the police academy, to show officers how alcohol impairs you. You have a drink, boom, you get behind the car, you go through the track, you come back, you take another drink, or another beer, you slam the whole beer, then you get back in the car, you do it again. And you slowly see how it impairs you. I dare them to do that with marijuana.
Representative Ron Hicks, check this out. So just a couple months ago, we have on the show today as well, Extract Ed here in a little bit. That's the police officers, those 60 some odd cops that gave me, after I medicated as much as I possibly could, gave me a series of tests, all their roadside tests, and not a single one of those officers said that they would have arrested me. Smashed all their tests.
And smoked all their weed.
And smoked all their weed.
Yeah, let's
Hey, you
clarify
have to
that.
pay for it.
Right. Representative Ron Hicks, I appreciate you. Ethan's going to keep us in touch with you and what your initiatives out there are looking like, these legislative efforts. We really appreciate everything you're doing for the patients. And we are going to take a commercial, and we really appreciate you.
No problem at all. It was a pleasure for me to be on the show. Thank you very much. You keep up the good work, too, and keep explaining it and telling the true story.
Awesome stuff, guys. You're listening to Waxy Brown's Flower Power Hour on KKID 92.9 out of Salem, Rolla.